Welcome to On the Light. I'm your host, Susan Johnson. In this episode, I am deeply honored to be in conversation with Eric Small, a pioneering teacher of Iyengar Yoga whose work has spanned more than 6 decades. At 93, Eric brings a lifetime of experience shaped by direct study with B.K.S. Iyengar and Geeta Iyengar, as well as his groundbreaking work adapting yoga for students with multiple sclerosis. Through storytelling, reflection, and lived experience, he shares what it means to teach from the heart, to observe deeply, and to serve with humility. This conversation is both a historical record and a personal testament, offering insight into the early years of Iyengar Yoga in the West, the depth of the teacher-student relationship, and the enduring power of practice as a path of healing and self-understanding. Please enjoy this conversation with Eric Small. Hello, Eric. Hello, sir.
Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Thank you so much for agreeing to meet with me. It's really an honor.
Well, no, this will be my, I'm 93, and this will be my first experience with podcast.
Okay, well, I'm happy to be first. Wonderful.
Yes, I tend to be a very accomplished storyteller.
Okay.
And so my reputation over the years, now I've been teaching some 65 years, is that I introduce parts of the history of yoga into when I'm teaching. And so that requires to tell stories based on not only my experience, but the experience of my associates, and all our experiences have been over the years with Guruji in not only Pune, but also all around the world, because he always submitted a list of American teachers that he would like to have in Paris or in London or wherever he was. And my name was always written in pencil, not typed, because our adventure together was how I was to learn to channel and control my egotistical approach, and also my privileged position in society. So it always gave me the indication that it could be erased at any time, which kept me on my toes.
I bet it did.
Yeah.
So can you start by giving us a little background of how you came into this method? How did you find Iyengar Yoga?
I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis when I was 21.
Okay.
I had finally decided exactly what that was that I was experiencing. And I was not keen about taking drugs that nobody seemed to know that much about. And I was looking for a natural, more something that I could do to improve my situation. And I had studied other schools, but found them lacking. And when his book came out, Light on Yoga, I realized that at the end of every asana description, there was a paragraph called effects. So I cherry-picked asanas that I sense might be appropriate for my particular condition. Multiple sclerosis does not present a standard path. It isn't like cancer or heart. It's very individual. My symptomology over the years is completely different than anybody else I've ever taught or been exposed to. So I'm taking out of sequences, I have to say, to address my particular condition was what brought me into the Iyengar family, so to speak. But there wasn't anybody here. I lived on a very small town on an island that's 26 miles off the coast of Los Angeles. There was only 800 people there. So I depended on the library, a small library in a firehouse, to bring information, to bring books in that I could read. And that's how I discovered Light on Yoga.
Wow.
And I had started out with Richard Hittleman, his yoga system. But as soon as I started reading the book and trying to apply what I was taking from his descriptions, I was on board. I was definitely on board. So I left Avalon and moved to my grandparents' residence in Beverly Hills so that I could access the teachers that were coming back from India. This, remember, it's in the late 60s. So I was traveling all over town and the county, visiting teachers that were fresh out from Pune. But my driving skills are great. I don't drive. I haven't driven in 45 years. My vision is affected. So I had to have somebody drive me to these remote areas. You know, anything outside of Beverly Hills, as far as I was concerned, was remote. How spoiled I am. So, and then those teachers assisted me to start looking at sequences, what particular sequences could affect your vision, your balance, your fatigue, you know, your energy levels, your digestion. Because you're talking about nerves that are terribly affected by scar tissue. So the signals from the brain are misinterpreted by the body. And oftentimes I looked like Jerry Lewis on drugs. Very spasmodic, very uncontrolled. Strangely enough, I ran, when he did his first conference in San Francisco in the 80s, I got myself to San Francisco. But I was late in the registration, so the class was closed. But I propped the door open to the gymnasium where he was teaching with my cane. And I did what they were doing in the main room, I was doing out in the hallway.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
2 days go by. And on the third day, instead of coming through the north door, he came through the south door in the hallway where I was. And his first question to me is, "What are you doing here?" And I said, I wasn't afraid of him. You know, he's very formidable in those days, fierce eyes and stature. I wasn't afraid. I simply said, "I'm here to learn how to heal myself." And he said, "Then why are you out here?" And I said, "Because the room is full and they wouldn't take they said I could come and observe, but I could not be in the room." And he said, "Well, we're going to change that."
Oh, wow.
So, you know, the core, Patricia Walden, and all the stars were standing around him, you know, and he said, "Pick up his stuff, pick up all his props, pick them up." And I went in and he put me to the side of the stage and said, "You sit here." And then somewhere, I don't know how it happened, he came down and moved me away from the stage and said to everybody, now watch this. And he took me and manipulated me into Trikonasana. Who teaches Trikonasana off the chair. Mm-hmm. And he asked me directly, he shifted me from right to left. And he said, how does this feel? I said, I can breathe. And he said, good. Now we put me up on the stage and tied me to a column into Karani. Mm-hmm. And he says, don't move. And from then on, for the next 3 days, I could come in and sit and watch.
Wow.
Then I came back to Los Angeles and found Bonnie Anthony and other teachers that had just come back and were fresh out of Pune. Mm-hmm. And she agreed to take me, but I had to drive from Beverly Hills to Pasadena. There was the freeway was only one freeway. Mm. Else was by street. I had to leave my house with my driver probably an hour and 20 minutes before, because you had to go through the city to get on the Pasadena freeway to go to her studio. And Bonnie and the other teachers that were there dealt with me not during the class, but before the class and after the class. Hmm. And showed me how to use things at home, how to use the chairs, how to use your bed, how to use the door, all of these props that I didn't have, but that I had in my home. Mm-hmm. And that's how it started.
Wow. That's
quite. I even say that now, 65 years later. I say to myself every morning when I go into my practice in my studio, I say, thank you. Mm. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it enabled me then to, when you have to go through a 3-year training. Mm-hmm. And then I had an introductory, in those days, an introductory level 1 certificate. And they told me you cannot teach without supervision.
Oh.
Yeah. So I had to talk somebody into letting me come in and teach with them supervising me for 2 years until I was definitely on my feet and definitely embedded into the Iyengar system. Mm. Mm. And then probably 10, maybe 12 years later, no, it was longer, 15 years later, my wife and I opened up the MS Achievement Center at UCLA. Uh-huh. And that was geared strictly to MS. And so we had MS, they got not only the yoga session with me, but they also got physical therapy. They got weight training, they got social reentry, and we all had lunch afterwards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's really amazing.
That's a gift.
Yes.
That was a gift.
Uh-huh.
And then when my wife passed, the Hilton Foundation came in and continued with the program, with my program. But my late wife and Marilyn Hilton were friends. Mm. And Marilyn Hilton had MS, but she had progressive, where I have, comes and goes.
Okay.
So I worked with Marilyn, and then she told her husband, you need to help him. Mm. So still there.
Wow.
Even Marilyn, Steve and his wife is Kathy.
Okay.
They're still involved.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's a great answer. It's very moving. I love that Guruji, your interaction and your encounter with him at the San Francisco convention. That gave me chills.
And over the years, I've always been invited, no matter where he was, I was always invited to attend.
Uh-huh.
But but in those days they had breakouts. So after the main class, certain teachers were assigned breakout classes. So you could then bring in your observations, your techniques into these classes. But my classes have always been only very narrowly focused to other people like myself that have multiple sclerosis.
I just think that's wonderful. My sister is actually has MS as well.
Oh,
And
what are you doing?
she's doing well. She's considered to be in a remission. It
Yeah.
was definitely hard at first, but she seems to have the right kind of treatment right now.
Mm-hmm.
Doing very well. So,
It's medically based.
yes. Yes. She doesn't listen to me, Eric. What do you do?
They never do.
They
But
don't.
I do have a book out that it would probably help her to feel comfortable and doing the Iyengar system. It's very moderated. It's very moderate. It uses a lot of prop, and all the props are home based.
Uh-huh.
And give it a try.
Yeah, I'll get that for her. Yeah.
I should mention, I have never charged my classes ever.
Wow. That's very generous.
It's why if they want to make a donation to the MS Achievement Center, by all means do so. But my life's position is that I do not depend on any kind of income from the service that I provide. And that's because Iyengar told me, pointed his finger at me and said, you must be a bhakti. You must be of service because you can do that. Many people can.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm still there.
Yeah. That's really remarkable. And thank you. I mean, I'm sure there are many people who are appreciative of what you've been
Yes,
doing.
yes. Guruji asked me once, where were we? Where were we? Oh, we were in Boston. And he asked me, do you have any idea how many people you have affected with the teaching? I said, no, never occurred to me to keep track. He said, well, after all these years, could it be that it's thousands? I said, I don't think I should think about that. He says, good for you.
Aw.
He was testing me. We had a good relationship. And with Geeta Ji also.
Yeah.
She trusted me. And I think her trust was based on my long association with her father and the fact that I understood what adaptation meant. And I also understood that it was important as an Iyengar trained teacher that you create an atmosphere of trust. And that your first concern, as far as she was concerned, was safety. That your students are safe. And because of my visual limitations, I became a very, very keen, focused observer. And I could make changes based on how I observed the students coming into the room. Because that's what I did. I would sit way over in the corner, watch them come in. However, whatever, wheelchairs, walkers, canes, anything, or even just how they came in.
Mm-hmm.
By the time they were seated or in their chairs, I already had the plan I was going to teach out of the window. But now I'm teaching who is there.
Mm-hmm.
And that resonated with Geeta G very much.
Yeah.
Very much. She was a very compassionate, very enveloping personality,
Mm-hmm.
very direct,
Yeah.
very direct. So we had a lot of laughs.
That's good.
But when she, her food and Gee's food was specially prepared by Chris Stein, who was one of my students, and I was her mentor, and she always prepared the food. So Geeta G had a special plate, but she always asked that I sit next to her
Mm-hmm.
because I could converse with her very freely, very openly, and I wasn't in awe,
Yeah.
whereas the rest of the teachers at the table wouldn't open their mouths.
Uh-huh.
They wouldn't even look at her.
Yeah.
We had a good, friendly basis of information, communication. Yes, yes.
Yeah, that is the problem when, not that I've ever experienced it, but I can imagine, it was like that for Guruji and for Prashantji and Gita, that when people are so in awe of you, it's hard for them to be comfortable and speak like they would normally speak with somebody. And that's probably all they really want, is you to be comfortable.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. She also liked my kurtas.
You're what?
I wear
Oh,
kurtas,
yes.
so she liked that.
Okay.
Yeah, she liked that. Guruji, I was very careful with because you had to be cautious about upstage. So you needed to be just like everybody else. So I did not wear them around him.
Oh.
No.
Mhm.
He was the boss.
Mhm.
And um, you had to respect that. And my lesson with him was ego control.
Mhm.
So I did never push forward or appeared any different than anybody else.
Mhm.
But he did come to my home
Mhm.
when he was on his book tour.
Mhm.
And he came in and he blessed my studio. I had worked for a week straightening the blankets and polishing the blocks and undoing the belts. And, you know, every peck of dust, I had 3 people in there scrubbing and sweeping and rearranging, so that when he came in, all he said was, good. Walked right out the door into the garden. And he said, I would like to sit here. We had a beautiful magnolia tree. And the property was about 4 or 5 acres. So there was lots of trees and gardens and fountains, and it was quite beautiful. And it was my wife's house. And he sat there, and there was probably 25 or 30 people had come with him.
Mhm.
And I said, you need to leave him alone.
Mhm.
Don't even be in his eyesight. Leave him alone.
Mhm.
But the dogs loved him, so they went and sat next to him. And we all sat back. And while we were watching, every eye was on him, but he just went in.
Mm.
He just went in. And that's when I realized what he was talking about when he says, go in. He's asking you that when you're in your practice, when you're teaching, that it doesn't come from your mouth, it
Yeah.
comes from your heart. And they're teaching his life, his observations, but they are not in the mouth, they're in the heart.
Mm.
And so the mere act of opening your arms from the center wasn't just spreading your arms in space up in Hastasana or whatever. It was moving from a center of compassion.
Mm.
And that's how I think when I teach. That's what's the voice behind me. He's always with me. His picture is always behind me.
Mm.
No matter where I go, I bring his picture and I set it up so he's behind me. So when they're looking at me, they're looking at him.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I know this sounds strange, but I get a sense of connection.
Mm-hmm.
And I can hear him say, no,
Mm.
no, not that, this. So your adjustments, which are consistent with people with an affliction, you're always adjusting, you're always moderating. It didn't come from me.
Mm-hmm.
It was in conjunction with
Yeah.
master, in conjunction with the master. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
When you went to Pune, did you study in the medical classes? Did you assist, or were you a student in the medical?
No, I never was in a public class.
Oh, okay.
I was always delegated to medical.
Okay.
And then later on, he would come in and sit and then yell at all the senior teachers. but but he was always very kind to me. And I learned a great deal in the medical class, a great deal about, because his corrections when they were handling me were so insightful,
Mm-hmm.
so direct, and so simple.
Mm. Yeah.
So simple.
Mm-hmm.
And it was based on observation, that they were not looking at the effect of what they were doing, even though they were seasoned and senior teachers. They had fallen into what he said was habit.
Ah.
And he said, habit is death.
Mm-hmm.
Observation gives you the clue as to what your sequence is going to be, or how you're going to readjust that student.
Mm.
And Geeta Ji was very good at that. She was very good at very simple movement, very simple adjustment, very simple observation. And you learn that you need to focus and you need to be present and you need to teach who is in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Who is there?
Yeah.
Now, I had a lot of important people in the Beverly Hills, Bel Air area,
Mm-hmm.
come to the studio because, number one, it was gloriously wonderful, but also, too, it was in the right place
Yes.
for them.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. And I had one personality come in and ask the person that was sitting in their place to move.
Oh.
And I happened to overhear it. And I said, I own this studio, not you.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is entitled to the place they wish to be in.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot do that. That's rude and insensitive.
Mm-hmm.
This student is going to remain exactly where they are, and you're going to go over there.
Was it a famous person?
Hmm?
Was it a famous person?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And my assistant said, oh, they'll never come back. But they did. The next week when they were in class, they came to me before the class and said, I don't know how to say how sorry I
Oh,
am. And that I have learned a great lesson here,
yeah.
that everybody, no matter who or where or what, is equal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you teach that.
Yeah.
That's how you teach that.
Mm-hmm.
My father was a horseman, and many, many people would come to the barns and sit up on the fence with him, and they would talk privately. And when they were through, I said, my gosh, Dad, that was so and so. He says, no, just another human being wanting some advice. That's all.
Wow.
And I carried that forward with me all these years, that everybody is equal. It doesn't make any difference.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so much a part of the teachings too. When Prashant teaches, he'll say, we are not our gender, we're not our race, we're not our,
Oh,
um,
exactly.
profession, all of those things, that's not who we are. And yeah.
I think that the the I believe actually that the title of his first book, Light on Yoga, was a great opening
Mm-hmm.
to the understanding of not only the mechanics and the alignment,
Mm-hmm.
but also too, as you progress through your levels of certification,
Mm-hmm.
that you become more and more aware that this was a tremendous change
Mm-hmm.
in the teaching of, and how aware he was of that change from east to west.
Mm-hmm.
And that uh, it is not it's not physical exercise.
Mm-hmm.
It's a journey within. It's a journey within to find yourself. And once you understand that, and you find the means of communication, that's his message going, that's the message going forward. That's the message going forward. Yes, alignment. Yes, positioning. Yes, sequencing. Yes, incorporating pranayama into your lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. It's
Hmm.
fun.
Yeah.
I say to my students, listen, if you're not enjoying it, let's discuss how you can just enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be a smile somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
He had a wonderful laugh. He had a wonderful, wonderful open mouthed laugh.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it came right out from on the inside. And it just broke all the tension that might have created.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in the men's class,
Mm-hmm.
because you could smell the testosterone coming up. You could see the competition going in from one guy to another, You can see,
Ah,
yeah. And you just have to control that by, let's take a nice big smile and let's laugh about this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So you were in those classes then where Guruji was the primary teacher?
Mhm.
Yeah, not many people can say that they were able to do that. A lot of the people I interview say that by the time they got to Pune, he wasn't teaching the general classes anymore. He was always there, but he wasn't.
Oh no. I've had his hands on my skinny body, or his hip, or his arm,
Uh-huh.
or I can remember in the Paris convention that by that time I thought I was I should be out in the middle of the room, just like with everybody else. And so when he walked in, he walked up and, he's shorter than I am.
Yes.
And he looked up at me with these huge eyes and said, "What are you doing in the middle of the room?" Well, sir, I thought that I should be in community. He says, "When I tell you to leave the wall, that's when you leave the wall." Walked away. I picked up my stuff and moved back to the wall. Simple as that. I never during his lifetime I ever moved away from the wall. But then I was moved to medical. So he was always in medical. So I had that experience. And he asked me, he said, how do you feel after the end of the time I was there? I said, well, I just noticed that when I came in, I was kind of sore and limping, but I tangoed out. What's tango? I said, it's a dance.
Oh.
Shiva danced. Why shouldn't you?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great story.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He asked me a question, what you sort of made me think about things. And you asked me what would have been the two lessons that you had learned with Guru and Geeta Ji. And I said to myself, I said, well, the first lesson I learned from both of them was how to teach from their heart. And the second one was how to encourage the student to understand why it was so important with alignment. And because most of my population is affected by an indescribable and unsolvable medical condition, you understand right away that the alignment had nothing to do with the bones and the muscles. It had to do with the nerves. He was that deep into the body. It was the nerves. Our nerves disintegrate, and then the message from the brain doesn't get through exactly as it's originated. But if your nerves are cool and quiet, then the message goes through or around. It usually goes around the scar tissue. So that your movement, instead of being on a railroad track, always this way, your movement can be anywhere that brings in the alignment. That's what I learned.
That's really interesting.
That's what I teach. It has nothing to do that you can't move your foot or that you have fatigue in one particular part of your body. But what can we do to learn how to go around that or to understand it? And what I ask them to do is, which hand do you brush your teeth with? And automatically, it's usually the hand you write with. Well, put the toothbrush in the other hand. When you first do it, it's all over your face. But the more you do it, suddenly it's as the same as the smarting. And that's proof to me that the nerves are quiet, but they're now moving on another track. I don't know if it's medically proved, but I work with doctors and their patients, and we both observe that the attention to alignment and the proper use of the prop for that particular person, there is always seemed to be an improvement. And the University of Oregon ran a study for 10 years based on the teachings. Mm-hmm. And that's what was the result, that there is a gradual positive improvement. Not only just in the physical activity, but in their attitudes and their look at life, and the reaffirmation that the soul or the spirit, or however you refer to it, is eager to be there and to be of help. So that gives you another dimension to the teachings of Guruji, which he never said. He only put it into print. And it's all there. It's all there. All you have to do is open your heart to it.
Yeah.
And you have the freedom to do that and the security to do that. I'm lecturing.
No, I love it.
Sorry.
Perfect. No.
I had a class this morning. It's called the family class.
Okay.
I have my daughter, my granddaughter, 3 nieces, 1 nephew, a girlfriend, and they come on Saturday mornings and they leave their shoes and their purses and their phones and their water bottles outside. Mm-hmm. Once we pass through the door, there is no mention of the chaos that's going on around us. And I explained to them when we first started last year that this is a sacred place. It's also where I practice my practice. And I followed Guruji's advice about that you do not teach unless you have practiced before the class. Mm-hmm. Just don't walk in, drop your bag, throw out your sticky mat, and say, please sit in Swastikasana, erect, blah, 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 and start. No. You have to do your practice first. And in that practice, you have no idea who's going to be in that room later on. But boy, when they walk in and that your plan for the class has gone out the window, that's when his teaching and his example of both he and his daughter comes to form. I unfortunately have never had a person-to-person class with Prashant because I was always somewhere else. But I do watch him on the tube. I mean on the television. And I admire his tenacity.
Yes.
Yeah, I admire his tenacity. He's got a big job.
Yes.
Yes. And Abhijata is growing into it. And she's going to be really good.
Yes.
Yeah. She brings more of a human, compassionate view And it's what's interesting I've noticed over the years also is that there's very few men in the class.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's mostly women.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole other dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Women are a whole different dimension than us dudes.
Were Guruji's classes they were filled with men? I mean, he had the men's.
No, there was just I taught just a men's only class for probably 10 years.
Huh.
And when I when my wife passed, I downsized to my home here in Beverly Hills, which was not as immense as that one was. So
Mhm.
I could put in 25 guys. But here, I handled maybe the top 10 people in my studio here. But in public classes, it's mostly women.
Yes.
Why are they there? Why why aren't they there? Why
Mhm.
are the men not there? Why are the women there? Is because they're far more sensitive, not only to the environment around them, but what's happening to them physically, mentally, emotionally. They're more open to accept what the information is that they're getting.
Yeah.
We like to walk around like John Wayne and make lots of decisions. And if it doesn't happen now, why not?
Mhm.
And if it's not my way, then hit the highway.
Mhm.
We're wired differently, and women have a more. You put 5 women in a room, they'll talk about everything.
Yes, we will.
Everything. There are no boundaries there. They're communicating. Put 5 guys in the room, sports, women, sex. That's about it. That's about it. Uh, I
Oh.
think yoga makes men very more aware.
Mhm.
They make a connection
Yeah.
between the overt masculinity and not be afraid of the softness or the creativity that's within them,
Mhm.
and that it's okay, it's perfectly permissible to cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And hopefully, hopefully, my classes are pretty evenly distributed, and I know the men are working harder,
Mhm.
and I do everything I can to soften the male gaze so that it doesn't interfere with the self-discovery. And perhaps I base that on my own experiences of how I've changed my thinking over the years.
Mhm.
And then this August premiere place of 93, I'm pretty well balanced.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's good. Hmm.
So then now comes the question about how does Iyengar continue?
Mhm.
How does it continue? It's changed dramatically, which everybody anticipated. It has changed.
Yeah.
And, but the first generation Americans that were there in the 60s,
Mhm.
70s. We're still here. And I always appreciate when somebody calls me from Chicago and says, I have somebody that has MS in my class now. I have a copy of your book, but I'd like to talk to you directly. Mm. So those of us who are in the old gray arthritic group, we're there because we can pass on to flesh out a little bit what Iyengar really is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that it has more of an anchor into, I'm going to say this quote unquote self-realization, mm-hmm. in the sense of discovering who, what, where, and what you are, mm-hmm. and how you can use the talent that you have for communication or demonstration or a living example that can be digested by the new generations. Mm-hmm. I like being where I am.
That's good.
Do. Yeah. I like it. I'm very comfortable with it. Mm-hmm. I find that sometimes I'm early to the institute, and so I sit to the side and watch, and then the teacher who's teaching becomes so nervous, so scattered and they start running around and running off the mouth and all this. And after the class, I said, I'm never going to come into your class again. I'm going to wait outside because I could see that it disturbed you. Mm. But there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. Mm-hmm. I'm not the authority. The guy up on the wall, his picture, there's mm-hmm. your authority. Yeah. He's made sure that we are capable of passing on his information, mm-hmm. and that it be the truth. Yeah. That it be the truth. That's why I think he was adamant about mixing styles. Mm. Or teacher shopping. Yeah. That goes on a lot. Yes, it does. Yes. And I always ask, who have you studied with? Who are you studying with now? Mm-hmm. And they tell me. And then I say, why aren't you there? Why aren't you there? Why are you here? Well, I want to see and learn from you. I don't think you're going to see anything or hear anything any different than what you've already heard. Yeah. It's just a different way. And he was very, very, both of them, and Geeta Ji also, that you find your own voice. Mm. That you find the way that you can deliver the truth. Mm-hmm. That's what makes it possible to go into a class at my age. And I don't just sit there. I'm still demonstrating, but my way, mm-hmm. using props, using the chair, what I'm teaching, but I'm still speaking the truth. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah.
That's remarkable.
What is your responsibility for teaching? What is your responsibility to teach? It's a great responsibility.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. And you've got to be ready to be responsible, mm-hmm. and truthful and compassionate And the only way you learn compassion is to be compassionate to yourself.
Mm.
And through that discovery of what the word really means, it's like I interviewed a new business manager, and I only asked one question. Can you explain to me what fiduciary means? Do you see where I'm going on that one? Can you explain what you're doing? What is your responsibility? And that needs to be really very clear, very clear. When I had been an assessor for about 10 years in my late 60s, early up into my about 60 to 70. And and I was on the plane going to Seattle for an assessment. And I'm not bragging here, but I do travel first class. I have to be, just for my own comfort.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a young man sitting next to me. And I noticed him and I thought, well, he must be doing pretty good if he's up here in the front of the plane. And I was going through my information as to who was being assessed, and it was on my lap. And I saw that he was looking at me, so I closed my folder. And he said, "Oh my God, you're Eric Small?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Oh, I'm so, and I'm going to up to be assessed." I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to move so you're more comfortable." And there happened to be an empty seat across the aisle. So I moved. No other further conversation. And he seemed to be more comfortable. And I could then pursue what I needed to do. And when we met at the assessment, he said, "Thank you."
Oh, yeah.
But he failed.
Oh.
And the only reason he failed is he was not following the syllabus for his level.
Oh.
And he was demonstrating, when you demonstrate in the group, he was demonstrating level 3.
Oh.
And we were just doing introductory.
I see.
And he came to me after and said, I didn't anticipate. I said, "You didn't fail. I would like to have you come to my classes free of charge. No, there's no charge ever. I'd like to work with you for the next year." And he said, "You would?" I said, "Sure. We'll just make a time. You come to me." He lived in Pasadena. I lived in, 20 miles away. But he was there and he did beautifully on his next assessment. I didn't assess him again because I was someplace else. Yeah. But he did beautifully. And he's a good teacher. He's thorough. He's direct. He takes the responsibility that he's supposed to do. And he's had a wonderful career. Yeah.
Career as a yoga teacher? A career as a yoga teacher, you mean?
Yeah. He's a good-looking dude, so he's doing very well. He's not. There's nothing you can find that physically that would be an impediment. But he's a good teacher. He's a good teacher. And I've audited his classes. He's set it up so I can see what he's doing. He's good. Safe.
That's good.
Yeah. He's a good person.
One thing that I read in your bio was that you had brought yoga to was it the public schools in LA?
Yes.
I'm a public school teacher, so I'm very curious about.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, it wasn't LA, it was Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I was also in my 30s, I was a public school teacher at junior high art school, art class, because I have a master's degree in fine arts.
Okay.
I was a public school teacher until my daughter was born. And then I realized I needed to be home.
That's great.
To be a dad.
Yeah.
To work together with my late wife. And so it was, yeah, it was wonderful experience. Wonderful experience to teach publicly in a school. Beverly Hills is pretty good, it's highly rated, but the people that I was teaching, it was an evening class. It was not I had already taught in a public school class. This was an evening class.
Okay.
Through the education of Beverly Hills education. So I had, all sizes, shapes, and stations. Yeah. And
I bet.
it was great. But in my class at Paul Revere Junior High, I was incorporating the philosophy of teaching. This was also during the time of busing, and that was very upsetting to young people. Also, it was a drug culture. They felt secure enough with me to give me their product before they went out in my homeroom, to give me the products that they had taken out of their parents' medicine cabinet, and I would keep them.
Oh.
I wouldn't return them, but I didn't turn anybody in or get hostile about it. I just understood that there was a need for that, and then I needed to find out why that was happening, and to help if asked, only if asked, if there was anything I could do, which often happened. My open house, teachers have open houses. Do you have open houses?
Yes.
Yeah. Mine were packed. Standing room only. Everybody wanted to come and see what their kids were talking about. Who was Mr. Small? Yeah. And always at the end of the hour, before they went on to see their other teachers, they always came up and said, "I'm so glad you're here."
Oh.
Thank you. So glad you're here.
Well, the best thing you can get from students.
Yeah. And teaching art was great fun.
I bet.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah. We didn't use pens and pencils. We went out and we cut branches off some of the bushes, which I got into trouble about. But we made our own pens.
Oh, cool.
From a branch. And then I hung 6-foot lengths of butcher paper on the walls. And I got a couple of guys from the gym, and they agreed that I could draw skeletons on them.
Oh, cool.
And they stood up on the top of the desk, which I also got in trouble about. And so there was no little eyelashes and curly coos or little lips. they had to dip their pens, which were sticks, and draw what they saw.
Sounds really cool.
It was. And then my principal came up and said, I understand you're drawing on the students. I said, yes. And I unrolled one and put it up on the wall. And I said, look. And he said, a 7th grader did that?
Wow.
Said, yes. And I showed him a 9th grader. And he said, can I borrow these? Why? He said, well, they're having a competition between the junior high schools in the system doing art show, and I'd like to display these. It was very well accepted and everybody was well excited, but then the principal came back to me and said, I'm getting a lot of calls from other principals. If you're happy where you are, because they certainly would like to have you at your school. What's your answer? And he said he's very happy. So that principal, he was a nice guy.
Yeah.
He understood where I was going.
That's good.
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed it very, very much.
Great. When you were in LA for Corinne Beria, she was just there, right?
Oh, yes.
I've had her on the podcast as well.
Oh, okay.
And because of her interview and an interview I had with Savita and Vanita, Guruji's daughters, I've sort of been inspired to write a family cookbook of the Iyengars.
That would be great. That would be great.
Yeah. I'm really excited about it.
So what was you mentioned Corinne because of?
Oh, well, within her interview, she mentioned the fruit salad that Guruji liked to eat when he was there in Paris. And she said, the Iyengar Indian food is the best Indian food. And so that, with the whole food discussion I had with the sisters, I thought, we need to do something about this.
I think it'd be very interesting.
And I'm really interested in collecting the oral history and the stories that go with the food. And, there's so much to how we nourish our body and, and so, yeah, I'm hopeful it all goes well, but I'm really excited about it.
Where are you located?
I live in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah.
I was there for a yoga convention.
Yeah, we had it. I remember you were, so that was in 2004. That was my first convention. And I remember that you were there as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear that you'll be at the convention in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Wonderful.
God willing.
I will be there as well.
Oh, good.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing you in person. And
I look about the same. What you're seeing is really what you're going to get. And Gloria's involved with this.
Yes.
And I don't know if you know Gloria, but
I know her very well. Yeah.
She's a take charge person.
She is. Yes, she is.
And she's always been, for me, she has always been she intercedes when she sees that something's not right. And she makes it right very quickly, very efficiently. But when she walks away and you see the faces of the people that she's just confronted, you realize that how what a powerful personality she is, but also, too, her absolute devotion.
Yes.
Her absolute devotion. We have been associated now probably 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
We both started about the same. Yes, I probably was a little bit ahead of her in my connection to the Iyengar, but when she came in, she, wow. And I think that they were very appreciative of her. She's still very effective. She knows her business.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we're lucky to have her.
Yeah, we certainly are. And she's just an hour and a half south of me.
Hmm.
So we get together.
That's good.
We talk. She takes a look at me. I take a look at her. Get a lot said and done. And I appreciate very much that she has made the decision to devote her energies to the good of the populace. It's the only way I can describe it. It's not just one person or 10 people. It's to everybody. She's very conscious of the general good.
Yeah.
And that's very, it touches me very deeply.
Yeah.
I believe that we're on the same path that way.
Mm-hmm.
And she also understands me.
Yeah.
She understands where I'm coming from. When I make an offer, it's not, financially. It is not from me. It's from the respect of the truth and the general good.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Thank you, Eric. This has been lovely. Absolutely lovely. I appreciate your time so much and everything that you shared.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of On the Light. I truly enjoyed this conversation with Eric. There is something deeply moving about hearing a lifetime of practice distilled into such clarity, humility, and generosity. His stories, his humor, and his unwavering devotion to the teachings offer not only insight, but a living example of what it means to practice and to serve. I'd like to close with a short excerpt from Eric Small's book, Yoga, Multiple Sclerosis, A Journey to Health and Healing. He says, "Yoga teaches us not to fight the body, but to understand it, to work with it, and to discover what is still possible. May this be a reminder that stays with you in your practice." If you enjoyed this episode of On the Light, I invite you to like, share, or subscribe. And if you're able, a small monthly contribution helps sustain the continued production of this podcast. Thank you for listening. Namaskar.